Hello, horror heads, and welcome to the Graveyard Shift's 2017 review show. Yeah, we put a lot of time into that title. This week, we're going to recap some of our favorite moments from the past year, answer all those questions you lovely folks have been sending us, and talk about our best and worst movies we covered on the show. And also reveal what you guys picked as the best and worst movies of 2017 and what your most anticipated horror movies of 2018 is. And of course, I won't be doing that alone because the Graveyard Shift is not a one-man show. Please say hello to my partner in podcast crime, Mike.
Hey, everybody.
Mike. Here we are in 2018. We have a whole new year of horror ahead of us, and can you believe we've officially done the show for 6 months now?
Man, it feels like 6 years, but in the good way, with the familiarity, the camaraderie.
Nice save. I was about to say, oh, geez, thanks a lot. That's jerk. Sorry, sorry, I'm taking up so much of your time here. Yeah, but no, see, I feel the opposite. See, to me, it seems like it was just days ago that we were still trying to figure out how we were going to make the show even happen. But anyway, I'm really glad we did. In 6 months, we'll be celebrating our 1-year anniversary, and I cannot wait for that.
We got plans and schemes. Do. But first, we have to lay 2017 to rest.
Absolutely.
We gotta pay our respects, say some words, and then throw dirt on it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we gotta bury this one. So let's talk about 2017. You know what? In my opinion, I think we watched mostly good horror movies. Like, there's very few times where we watched something that I would call a stinker.
Yeah, very few cases where I could count on one hand the amount of movies that we've seen where I was just like, I wish I didn't see this.
Yeah, it was definitely a good run for sure. And, maybe if we did this for a full year, we would have come across that list of bad movies would have been longer. So I think that's a good place to start. Like, now that we're thinking about, before we get into some questions, what was our favorite movies that we watched? I think of everything we watched, and now I'm a little bit conflicted because there's one movie that we watched that I actually did not have any dislikes. I had nothing for my dislikes column. And that was Trick or Treat. But I don't know if it's my favorite movie that we covered for the show.
Oh yeah, there's so many things to consider more so than the movie. Like, did it inspire any great laughs, any great talking points?
Yeah, I think because I'm not sure if that makes sense. Like, it's just that I think with Trick or Treat, they did what they set out to do. There was no problems for me to point out, but it doesn't mean that that's the movie that I enjoyed the most. You know, I just didn't. There was just no complaints. That's all. I think my favorite movie of what we covered was probably it was a very early episode, and I know we're only 30 episodes in, so most, that's not a lot to consider. But I think my favorite movie was from episode 3, if I remember correctly, which was An American Werewolf in London.
Oh, that certainly was fun. Like, we were just still getting into the skits,
mm-hmm.
trying to figure out what can we do to stretch our muscles. Like, the first couple of skits were just us talking.
Pretty much, yeah. It wasn't exactly very enthusiastic.
We didn't really put any effort into the acting.
Because we didn't even know at the time if it was something we did it originally just to test it out to see if it was something that brought anything to the show. We didn't know if it was something that we were going to keep doing, but if that was just going to be a one-off thing, doing the whole, lost audio type of thing. But, after some feedback from some people, that some of our regular listeners, then we decided, I think that's something that we have to keep around. So yeah, this skit was a little. What skit did we do? What was it we found? We said we found some audition tapes
Yeah.
with where they were going to have American actors playing.
Yeah, when they didn't want to actually film it in London. Like,
Yeah.
we'll just put some sets around just to save on accommodations and airfare. But
Yeah.
turns out British people can fake an American accent. Not every American can fake a British accent.
No, that's for sure, and we certainly can't. So
Well, we're Canadian. We have a bit more English ancestry, like our politeness and our civility. So I think like it gives us like a slight advantage.
when I get drunk, I sound a little British, a little bit. I think that's the Newfoundland blood there. That starts to some of the European blood starts to rise to the surface.
I don't even watch soccer, but if anyone badmouths Manchester, you can fucking kiss my arse.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that one. Maybe Evil Dead because I mean that's just fantastic. Um, but I always enjoy a good werewolf movie, and they're not it's something you don't see very often anymore. So watching that again for the show just reminded me of how good that movie actually is. Very well executed. I liked the whole thing where there's more to it than just a werewolf. Anyone killed by a werewolf got to spend eternity as a ghost until that werewolf dies. So
It was an interesting rule, though. At the end, they broke their own rule. So, I mean, as much as I want to like it, I got to give it a strike against that because, when we found out that, well, like the girl was pregnant, apparently, as we got the sequel to An American Werewolf in Paris.
no, that was a different. That was a different werewolf like bloodline.
You sure that she wasn't the child? Oh.
Pretty sure. Yeah, I don't think those werewolves had any connection.
I don't know. It would have been nice to see something happen to the ghost, like they get released from their. I mean, like the fact that we don't even get to see him change when he gets shot. Like we see him transform into a werewolf. I would have liked to see him like
See the reverse.
die and revert. I mean, we got it with Evil Ed.
Yeah. Ugh. Evil Ed. Jesus.
The one good thing he contributed to that movie.
Yep. So okay. So what about you? Your favorite movie that we covered on the show so far?
I got to say, like, one of my favorite episodes that we did was with Kyle Clark talking about Night of the Comet.
Oh yeah. Good.
We
one.
discovered a great movie. We got to crack each other up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get to do a skit, but we definitely found such entertainment from beginning to end. And all the movies and the fact that like, we got Tyrone, that I discovered the Tyrone Bigham's connection to this movie. And he's the fan of this movie. He's the herald of this movie, and I found something he didn't.
Yeah.
That was like a shining moment of pride for me that in my first viewing, I saw something he didn't.
No, that was a great catch. I don't know. Did we ever post a picture like of the two characters side by side? If we didn't, we got to do that.
Shit, we're gonna have to go through our chat log then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if not, like we can just do it anyway. Okay, so on the
And,
other,
also, I liked Train to Busan. Like, if we're talking about just movies, forget the episode. Train to Busan, I discovered South Korean zombie movie is good.
yep, it was like I said, we covered a lot of good movies and a lot of new ones. Like I was glad that we got to do some new stuff, stuff that I hadn't seen, because it's always great to go back and revisit an old movie, especially some old favorites like Evil Dead and American Werewolf. But some things like this that we had guests that picked the movie, like Alexander Stephen Brown was our guest for that one, and he was fantastic on the show and picked a fantastic movie. Like I was so glad he suggested that, and we even got multiple suggestions for that movie.
What about skits? Do we have any favorite skits?
Oh my God, there's been so
One of the-
many.
One of the first ones that comes to my mind is for Frankenstein: The True Story, where I'm James Mason, and constantly picking a fight with you, the well-behaved Canadian actor.
Of course. Oh, see, you did a pretty good drunk Brit. That was actually not bad. So, yeah, that's a tough one. That was a good one. I think if I was going to pick a skit that I really liked was the Bubba Hotep skit with Robin. Finding out that that really was JFK at the end. Finding out anything that that covers like the aftermath of a movie. We get to find out what happens beyond the ending of the movie, or at least what we think would happen beyond the ending of the movie.
And the first time I got to find out how to implement an ominous tone into a skit.
Right. Okay, so let's...
I'd have to say, actually, the more recent ones we've done, like with the Christmas skits.
Yeah, there's good ones there as well. Like, I liked, even though I liked the whole cutting room floor type of thing, it was nice to change it up a little bit and have some skits at the intro, at the beginning of the...
How fitting in our wintry episodes where we got the cold open.
There you go. Hey, yo. All right, other end of the spectrum. Let's talk about a movie
That's how John describes me.
Okay, and there's no question here because this movie has come up several times since we first viewed it. And without a doubt, the worst movie that I have seen, probably ever, was Hollow's End.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. That's my pick for the big stinker of 2017. That movie, and I guess as well, if we're united on that, let's see if we can find a bit of separation here. The follow-up turd, mine would have to be the closest memory. Black Christmas.
Oh, you shut your bitch mouth.
Ah, there we go. Schism detected.
God damn you. That is a good movie. You fuck off with that shit. Oh.
Okay, well bring something else up and then see if we can see if I can.
Oh, well, how about your Mexican monster movie from episode 2? I don't even remember what it was called. What was the creature of Hollow Mountain?
The Beast from Hollow Mountain.
Oh my god. The fucking dinosaur in that movie looked like throughout the whole movie it was going ah! Come on, that movie was worthy of being on Mystery Science Theater. Come on, really? That was better than Black Christmas.
No,
yeah, well, come on, Mike. Come on.
All right, I'll give you that one as a late Christmas present. I'll give you that one.
Okay, cool. Come on, let's not start the new year in a fight. Let's go in peace. Okay, so yeah, I can see people not honestly, no, in all seriousness, I can see people not liking Black Christmas. It's not for everybody. I enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say. And it was much better than the remake.
Oh my gosh. Sounds like that's the Hollow's End of that.
Okay, so let's go on to let's do a few questions. This is some questions that some of you guys sent us, and all
right, on the pleasant things.
I went through them quickly, not all of them. But I did do briefly. Let's start off with somebody that is a friend of ours, and he's been on the show. That's our homie.
Hold
Eric.
on, I need to get some sound effects in here. Let's reach into the mailbag.
There you go. Okay, this is from Eric. And Eric was on the show for our Poltergeist episode, which also had what I thought was a great skit. Yeah. So Eric asks, What horror movie do you hate the most that you can't wait to subject the other host to? Oh, so that's our pick for a horror movie
Our
that
spite picks.
we've seen that I like. For instance, a movie that I will pick just to make you suffer.
So in other words, your revenge for my Hollow Mountain.
There you go. And I thought he did
There you
that.
go, Eric. You already got your answer. I already did it with the second episode of this podcast.
And I was going to say,
As soon as we started.
I was about to say, I think I already did that with Pieces, but no. Then I realized, no, I hadn't seen Pieces until then either. So I knew about it. Like Pieces is infamous. Like a lot of people suggested it because you're like, oh, you got to watch Pieces because it is like one of the worst things you'll ever see. So I knew going into it that it was going to be bad, but I hadn't seen it either. So that's not really the same. I subjected myself to that as well. So
Yeah. Blaine gave us Critical Madness.
which was
He played it as he played it as if it was great.
I can in a way I can kind of see his point, but like I don't think
It is. It's in one of those so bad it's good things.
Yeah, like
If you have the mindset for that.
it wasn't a good movie. Like I enjoyed it a lot, but there's no way that it's a good movie. And there is. I'll say this happens quite a bit. There is a big separation in a lot of times from what I enjoy to what actually can be considered good.
But he saved the episode with all that trivia though.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
but it's
there
fine.
were so many
Like,
things we wondered, like what the hell was going on, and he was able to tell us. So
yeah. No, he
Good
was
on him.
able to clarify like some of the things that because there was a lot of moments in that movie. It just, I don't mind a movie being bad. It can be bad, like I said, and still be entertaining. But there were some moments in the movie that when you're watching it without any, back knowledge of it, it really doesn't make any sense. But he had some inside details that cleared it stuff up, and it actually made some sense at some points.
like the director and his dad made that flimsy shed that got blown away with the fire hose,
Yeah. Like that stuff. Like it's.
or that apparently he robbed a pawn shop, which is where he got the Morning Star.
Yes.
And
Like he
then
just
the
pulls a
nunchucks.
morning star. Because I thought that was just funny. Like, out of nowhere, he just pulls this, like, freaking ball and chain sickle thing, whatever the hell it was.
It's a clown car of death.
He's just loading himself up with weapons. I'm like, what the fuck?
He escapes a mental hospital, and then suddenly he's got an AK-47.
Yeah. Well, it is America. They're probably, like, laying on the ground everywhere, so.
He was probably in the baby stroller that he ran over.
Yeah. So, I don't know what to pick for that. What movie can I subject you to that's just awful?
A spite pick.
Because, I've seen lots of bad movies, but anything that would really, like, make you angry for watching.
Maybe Reptilicus or
Oh,
something.
I know one. I know what it is, but I can't remember the name, but I'm going to look it up now because it's a Canadian movie filmed right here in Toronto, actually. And Adam West starred in it, of all people.
Wow.
Now, was it Zombie Nightmare? I think that may be it. I saw it probably it's a movie from the 80s. It stars Adam West and I'm trying to think. I think he's the only big name that was in it. Actually, yeah, here it is. Zombie Nightmare from 1987 was filmed right here in Toronto. Stars Adam West. Stars a professional bodybuilder called John Michael Thor. Well, Tia Carrere was in it for some reason.
Tia Carrere?
Yeah. Most known as, the hot Asian bass player from Wayne's World.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
best known.
Camera 1, camera 2.
Exactly.
Camera 1, camera
That
2.
one, you're going to be so angry when I make you watch this. So that's my pick right there. You're going to watch, sometime in 2018, you're going to watch Zombie Nightmare. And you're going to hate me.
There's one. Alright, I got one. And that is a suggestion brought on by one of our fans that we never got around to because I wasn't feeling self-flagellating at the time. But if we're going for spite, I have never seen this movie, but the name lets you know you're not in for something good, and that's Deathbed,
Oh my god.
the bed that eats.
That is another one that is fucking infamous. And I did not watch it. It's even on, I know that it's on YouTube because people have sent me the link to it and said, like, you've got to watch this. And I said, no, you know what? I'm going to save this for the show. And, all right. So, yeah, deal. We'll watch Deathbed and Zombie Nightmare sometime within the next year.
Do we want to keep it together so that, like,
One after the other.
So we can keep that animosity going.
One after the other. We'll, like, make sure that we smolder right through those 2 weeks. So, yeah, there's Eric trying, our friend Eric trying to make us hate each other. So, thanks a lot,
Trying
Eric.
to drive a wedge in the podcast.
That's Eric from the YouTube channel Hey Internet. Eric here. So, check that out. I love that channel, dude. Him and his wife just tortured themselves with, like, the worst cartoons and movies of, like, mostly from the 80s, sometimes 90s, and it's just amazing. Okay, so a lot of people asked us this one. What horror sequels do you think are better than the original?
Oh, are we talking sequels or remakes?
Sequels. It's I've actually got it written down here. Sequels.
A sequel
see.
that was better than the remake. It's hard to find that, basically, but to throw the horror modifier into it.
Yeah.
That horror filter. A horror sequel. Shit, the only thing I can think of...
I got one that I
Friday
would
the
say.
13th?
Friday.
Because it's the first time you actually get Jason.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would agree with that. It went from... they're all slasher films, but, like, Friday the 13th, the first one, was a bit of a murder mystery as well. So they definitely took a change. It definitely took a turn when the sequel came out. And, it's... Depending on what type of movie you like, you could argue that the first sequel is better than the original in the Friday the 13th series. I'm going to say George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. I think it's a better movie than Night of the Living Dead. So...
How many years was the difference?
Geez, quite a bit, because Night of the Living Dead came out in 68, I think. And Dawn of the Dead came out in 70... Is it 78 or 79? It's like at least 10 years difference there. So.
And are the universes connected?
Oh yeah, it's the same universe. It's like Dawn of the Dead is this, even though they're following a different group of people and everything like that, it is a sequel to Night of the Living Dead.
So it wouldn't be a surprise when zombies show up, since in this universe it's been going on for 10 years at least.
No. They even though it's like it's filmed 10 years later, the way they've done it is that it is like, Night of the Living Dead.
They thought they were finished in the black and white movie after they killed the black guy and thought, yep, we got them all. You mean the zombies or the blacks? Well...
So it is a direct sequel. Like, Night of the Living Dead just shows the very beginning of the zombie uprising. It's, like, pretty, like, as far as they know, it might be just happening just in that one town,
Yeah. Because it's still on the news. Like, apparently the dead are...
Dawn of the Dead, it's, like, more of when it's spreading throughout, like, they know now it's spreading throughout the country, and, military and police are getting organized. They have, like, special forces teams, like, trying to take care of it, but...
So they're still not used to it, but they're becoming more aware of it.
Yeah.
So, does that mean is it supposed to take place, like, immediately afterwards?
Oh, yeah. Like, even though the movies are filmed 10 years apart, they're supposed to be taking place, like, immediately afterwards.
Okay.
And then...
Boy, and you thought Halloween 2 had a protracted...
Yeah. And then Dawn of the Dead came out in, I believe it was 85. And it is, like, probably, like, a year or more after Dawn of the Dead, where, like, the world is overrun. Like, as far as we know, the only people that survived are this group of soldiers and scientists that are in this, like, underground bunker.
Wow, how stupid does a nation have to be, especially a nation full of guns, that you fall to a horde of dumb, shambling idiots?
Well, they even say that in, I think one of the lines in Dawn of the Dead, because they're on the news, they're talking to somebody, and no, I think it's in Day of the Dead, because somebody says we should just go up there. You know, we got loads of guns and ammo here. We should just go up and blow the piss out of them. And one of the scientists is like, even with everything we have there, there's not nearly enough. Like, the time to do that would have been at the beginning, but oh no, we have to procrastinate, and people, have to go. It has decisions have to go through committees, and people, and we got bureaucrats that have to make all decisions, and it's like by the time they make a decision, it's already too late.
And all those people decided to pray their problems away first.
Yeah. So Night of the Living Dead came out in '68. Dawn of the Dead came out when? Dawn of the Dead came out '78. So yeah, it was 10 years later. Exactly 10 years. And yeah, so it's so I would say, yeah, without a doubt, I think Dawn of the Dead is a better movie than Night of the Living Dead. And I love me some Night of the Living Dead, so that's some high praise from me. Okay, so another question.
Sure.
This one's going to be a little easier because it's directly related. Because a lot of the people that asked what a horror sequel that we thought was better than the original, what horror sequel do you think was a big disappointment compared to the original? All of them, almost. Besides the two we mentioned, all the rest.
Everything else.
Pretty much. Like, oh, fuck. I would say for me, though, if I've got to pick one, The Exorcist 2. Because, holy shit, what a fucking turd. I mean, like, sometimes you expect, because it's not something new, most sequels don't quite have the impact that the originals do, but, yeah, The Exorcist 2 was just awful.
But that's the one with the tequila worm. You remember that. Oh, wait, that's Poltergeist, not Exorcist.
Okay, so I put this question next because it's kind of related to those two questions about sequels, but a lot of people ask this one. What horror remake do you think surpasses the original?
It.
Definitely It. And once again, I like me some original It with Tim Curry. I enjoyed it, but I know a lot of people are going to disagree. There's a lot of haters of the new It out there.
Fuck them.
I don't care. I think the 2017 It was fantastic.
Okay, well, if we have to pick two, one each, then I guess my second will be the Blob. The Steve McQueen one was good.
Because we
this one was better.
Because we had a few people, like, we even had some people, I think, on our Facebook page say, oh, don't cover any remakes. Remakes suck. I'm like, hold your horses there, Mr. Jump to statement you can't back up.
Get off your jump to conclusions, Matt.
Yeah. Wow. Nice little Office Space reference there, Mike. Good job.
Thank you.
So, yeah, like, there's quite a few. Yeah, It, The Fly, The Blob, The Thing.
Yeah, as good as the original Thing was, the Carpenter one was...
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, guys. Like, we're just saying that, like, we're not saying that the originals were bad. We're just saying that we think the remakes did a better job.
Yeah, these aren't, like, or statements. Like,
yeah.
The originals are good. The remakes are just better because they fire on it, because they take everything that the originals made and they build on it rather than shit on it.
And you guys that are listening to this and chomping at the bit and writing your angry tweet right now, relax. The question was, what do we think? Okay, we're not experts by any means. We're just giving our own personal opinions. So simmer down, you.
Yep, we're not any governing body. The governing body is the mallet that we have in the corner.
I'm talking to you, Kevin. Calm down. Let's see, what else? And there's some, like, remakes that don't surpass the originals, but I still think they're fairly good movies.
Fright Night.
Yeah, there you go. Like, I mean, Fright Night is a remake as good as the original? No, not by any means.
I'd say it's as good, but in different ways.
I'm going to say it's not even close, but it doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. There's things about it that I really liked. I do think it's a good movie. So, there you go. There's quite a few of those. Okay, I think we might have already covered this, but correct me if I'm wrong. Trina P. wants to know, what is your favorite movie that you watch for the show? So, yeah, we already talked about that.
Yeah, we covered that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, here's something different. Nikki D. asked, what is your favorite non-horror movie? This one, so I like this because now people get to know a little bit more about us. It's weird because my favorite horror movie, my favorite non-horror movie, still has some horror elements to it, but definitely
Ghostbusters?
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite movie of all time. Movie I've watched the most. I would not be the least bit surprised that I've watched this movie probably 70 times. And I will still sit down and watch it with the same enthusiasm as I did the first time I saw it.
Shit, for me, that's... Oh, boy, this is opening a big chest.
Yeah.
I'd have to say, just off the top of my mind, the Transformers animated movie.
Oh, good one. Oh, man,
I mean,
that's some childhood...
It starts off with a rippin' rock soundtrack, and then a massive battle. We get to see characters that we've loved for 2 years on the TV series just fucking slaughtered right off the bat. Dude. And then a massive siege by the Decepticons with Optimus Prime single-handedly turning the tide to Stan Bush's The Touch. I mean, this movie in the first 15 minutes could have been its own movie. It was fantastic.
Fantastic, and like a big
gutting.
Source of childhood trauma right there.
Oh, it's just fucking gutting when Prime gets punked like a bitch in the yard.
But I mean, like, he goes out like a champ, but holy crap!
Oh, yeah.
Prime goes out like a champ. Some of the other characters,
he dies for this nobody who makes his first appearance in the canon. So
it was just a way to
that Dick Hot Rod.
It was just a way for him to sell more toys. I know, but there's some. I mean, one for me in particular.
Oh, it's such a visceral battle with him and Megatron.
The cop car transformer. I think his name was Prowl.
Yeah,
he gets shot, like, blasted through. The last you see of him is him falling to the ground with smoke coming out of his mouth and eyes.
Yeah, he is, like, incinerated from the inside.
Hey, he's a pretty cool character. Like, I liked him in the original series, and I don't think I had the toy, but I know a few friends that had the toy. And it's like, holy shit. And then Ironhide, Jesus. Almost got, like, lockjaw for a second. He gets, like, executed. Like, Megatron, you don't see it, it's off screen, but Megatron, like, shoots him in the head as he's crawling away.
And then Ultra Magnus, he's given the spark of leadership, and just when Megatron's got him, Galvatron has him against the wall, and he's just like, okay, it's time to light our darkest hour. It doesn't get much darker than staring down a firing squad. All right, open up. Come on, open up. And the Matrix is just like, fuck you, buddy. You just ain't special enough.
Yeah.
So, and he just gets gunned the fuck down. And then Galvatron rocking the Matrix around his neck like Flava Flav for the rest of the movie. He doesn't try to use it, doesn't try to do anything with it. He tries once, fails, and then he just decides, I'm gonna rock this around and basically go, yeah, boy, Unicron in the hood, what it is, yo, whoop whoop.
Okay, don't do that. Wow, we totally geeked out there for a moment. Welcome to the Transformers Hour.
Would you love to see Galvatron get his own reality show? With like Coco or whatever those friggin' ladies are that are all over him.
So yeah, so that's your pick.
Galvatron of love.
So that's your pick for your favorite non-horror movie.
Since I gushed about it so much, yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay, yeah, mine would be Ghostbusters. Fight Club's pretty high on the list as well. And of course, I'm a big superhero fan, so I mean, there'd be a few of the superhero movies there.
Oh shit, well. Guardians, Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah,
that was great.
So there you go. There's a lot of movies that are non-horror. We've got many sides to us. You're just seeing one on this show. So Brad C asks, whose idea was it to start the show? I'm gonna say that it was probably more of your idea, Mike, like to start the show, because it was you that suggested to me, like that suggested that we should do a show together.
Yeah, you were talking about things that you like to that you like doing, and that it would be good if you could talk about it. And then I was the one that's just like, well, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. So I'll say that you started the show in the fact that, yeah, you were the one that like pushed me into being a host. So yeah, so I would give, like, when it comes to, like, maybe I was the one that said, like, I'd like to do a horror movie podcast, but you were the one that, kind of steered me in the direction of starting a show in the first place. So I'm going to give credit to you.
It became more than a want.
Yeah.
It became a need, a cavernous need that will never be filled now.
Wow. Colin F asks us, what was the first horror movie you saw?
Shit.
I'm pretty sure I know mine, unless my age-addled memory betrays me now. I started hardcore because I'm pretty sure The Exorcist was the first horror movie I saw. I think I saw The Exorcist when I wasn't even sure what a horror movie was. It was just movies. You didn't have categories. It was a movie. So yeah.
Oh man, trying to go back so far into that memory bank. God, I can't tell if it was Christine or Dracula. Like, Dad's a big horror fan, so I mean, like, I don't know how many movies he basically watched with me just around, so that he knows I wasn't like playing with the knives in the drawer at the kitchen or something. So I don't know how many movies I was held hostage to on his lap or in the bed. But yeah, Hammer movies were definitely in heavy rotation in the house.
That is,
and there was
awesome.
a video rental store like nearby, so there was always plenty of those. I remember watching movies that had like Elvira hosting them, so we watched them live as well as renting them.
That is awesome. No, like I didn't know what a Hammer horror movie was until I was like well into my teens. So
oh, you poor deprived boy.
I know, right? And that once I discovered it though, and like I think I found one by accident, not even knowing like what Hammer horror was. I just happened to find the Hammer Curse of Frankenstein at the video store and thought, hey, that was really good. Like that was a great take on Frankenstein. And then like after that, probably like some of my first experiences on the internet, finding out that there's like a ton of Hammer horror movies there, and finding out what Hammer Studios was. So I got like I spent like probably an entire day on like an old dial-up modem, loading all these images and finding all these websites and finding out all these.
I finally started downloading this. I can't wait to watch it next week.
Next 3 months from now.
You just check in on it every day.
There was no
like
downloading.
10%,
When my first
40%.
experiences on the internet, there was no downloading movies. It was like images were the best you were going to get. But just like
you had to wait for them to descramble first.
Yeah. But checking out all these websites, like these these fan-made websites, nothing official, just these the Joes that had like much more internet savvy than I did. Like wow, you can create your own website? That's amazing. You must be some kind of genius. Do you work for NASA? So yeah, that was. So I didn't get much experience. I got a lot of exposure to horror movies in my teens, watching Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs.
Was that some local guy?
No. This was. I think this was like on TSN.
Oh, that sounds like one of the with the Sports Network.
No, not TSN. Jesus, TNN. I think. I got
the Nashville Network.
Stop saying things.
Did they did they have a horror block I didn't know about?
I'm just gonna.
I
Okay.
only saw Hee Haw every time my channel surfed past that.
No, it's nothing like that. But they did have like Joe Bob Briggs. It was a character that this actor was playing.
Look, I believe you. With three first, like when you got three names, you definitely belong on TNN. So I can believe that you saw him on that channel. If you sound like a NASCAR driver,
TNT. Sorry, not TNN. TNT. Jesus. So it was an actor. I don't even know the guy's real name, which I should, but he played a character called Joe Bob Briggs, who was the host, like the Elvira type of person, except instead of being this scantily clad, big boobed vampirist type character, he was a redneck that lived in a trailer park that would be watching these horror movies and giving having breaks before
instead of a pair of jugs, he only has one, and it has 3 X's on it.
Exactly. So you're not familiar with Joe Bob Briggs?
No, TNT sounds like one of those pay channels that, we grew up dirt fucking poor. If it wasn't on Rabbit Ears or basic cable, we weren't getting it. A lot of horror movies I watched were on CHCH12, which was like some Montreal-based channel.
Oh, dude.
That apparently was English.
Dude, I've got some stuff to send you, dude. I've got like all kinds of YouTube videos that I can send you about like some of Joe Bob's best moments. Sometimes he even had some guests on the show, and one of my favorite. There was a highlight because one weekend when I was watching it, they were me and some friends were watching it, and they were going to do a Friday the 13th marathon. So like all Friday night, they were on I think like Friday and Saturday, they were doing all Friday the 13th movies. But for some reason, they couldn't get the rights to one of the movies, so they had to skip one of them.
Wait, were they going to broadcast these on TV or something?
Oh yeah. Like I mean, they got the movies, and they would show these movies on TV, and Joe Bob would be giving...
Oh right. Okay, I spaced out for a second. I thought like your friends were doing like some weird sleepover stuff.
No. But yeah, like it was they couldn't get the rights to one of the movies, and so he did this.
Did he act it out?
No, but he did this big rant where like he couldn't believe that TNT, like the executives or whatever, didn't get the rights to it, and like they wouldn't shell out like some extra dollars to get the rights. And he went on this big rant about like how people are going to be missing crucial plot points that push the story along. It's like now nobody's going to understand how like the development of Jason and all this. So
there's a gap in the lore.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give you some Monster Vision and education. So yeah, so that was a lot of my horror education came from that. All right, so moving along. Okay, this is another one that's not related to horror or the show. Monica K wants to know, what's your favorite kind of music?
God, I've been so heavy on the podcast. I haven't listened to music in a long time, actually.
I'm a rocker at heart. But now that's my favorite. Like my favorite band is the Foo Fighters, so I'm rock is my favorite. Modern or old doesn't really matter. There's good songs from each era. So, but like I like stuff from a lot of different genres. I mean, there's some hip hop I like. Nothing when it comes to hip hop, more older stuff like some '80s, early '90s stuff.
Yeah, Grandmaster Flash or something.
Run DMC, love me some
something,
Run DMC.
Yeah, something back when it had a message.
And punk, I like some of the old '80s punk. Yeah, but I got a big mix. Like, I'll just look at my phone.
Yeah, I kind of like mashups, but like not just mashups, but I like it in that I get to hear music that I love in a new way, which sometimes worse, sometimes better, but it's new.
Yeah.
But also old and familiar. And it introduces me, like there's a lot of times where I'll hear like some music bed that I like, but they've laid vocals from a completely new song I've never heard before, but they sounds good. So it introduces me to new music while I'm still listening to old music.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the utility of it, even though I'd say like about a good 60% of the ones I've heard are garbage, but the 40% that I keep, I think they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But even then, I can appreciate like some of these are like just pleasing to me and nobody else in my social circle.
Absolutely. There's some songs that I listen to that's like I would never play it like I'd like have it play it like at a party, or if there's anyone over at my house, or even like out loud, like in the backyard, or anything.
No,
It's
no.
earbud music only.
Yep.
Anyway,
Those songs are for daddy.
so rock.
Like you do not want to go to an old folks home with your guitar and start singing my neck, my back, lick my.
Okay, well, here's an example though. I said like that. I listen to songs from pretty much any genre except country. I don't have any country songs. The only
Not even Shania Twain,
no, what the fuck no? Why? Why would you even say that?
because she's Canadian. Aren't you required to have at least a few of those songs?
No, you don't. Actually, no, I am. This is a lie. Not Shania Twain, but I do have one country song on my. Well, at least it's a country artist. I have a song by the Zac Brown Band, and it is Zac Brown Band covering. Jesus, where is it? Soundgarden's "Heavy Is the Head That Wears a Crown."
Huh. There's this there's group. Well, I like these banjo guys. They call themselves like Picking On, and they do like Picking on the Beatles, Picking on Ozzy. It's basically all of rock music that you know done on like banjos, and it sounds fantastic. When they did like Picking on Elton John, to hear Benny and the Jets on banjos is a treat.
So anyway, I just brought up the music that I have in my playlist on my phone. I just hit shuffle, and here are the songs that are on top of my list. So I've got the Sky's Neighborhood, sorry, by the Foo Fighters. That's one of their newer ones. I've got The Way You Used to Do by why don't I see the name here? Shit. Oh, by Queens of the Stone Age. I've got Moonlight Sonata. Like, was that who did Moonlight Sonata? Like Beethoven or Mozart or something?
Beethoven did the Pathetique Sonata, and just as a recommendation. Speaking of that song, "Midnight Blue" by Louise Tucker, if you can find it, because there's a lot of songs called Midnight Blue. But the one by Louise Tucker, she's a professional opera singer, and she worked with a guy called Charlie Scarbeck, and they put vocals to an excerpt of Beethoven's Pathetique Sonata. And you just find it, check it out. I think it's a very moving, it's a synth rendition of classical music. And they did another one, Only for You, which was another classical piece. I don't know the original, but check that out. You probably haven't heard it before, and it's interesting. It's new, so try something different.
So anyway, these are 10 songs that I have on the top 10 that showed up on my playlist when I shuffled it. So I got "The Sky's Neighborhood" by the Foo Fighters, "The Way You Used to Do" by Queens of the Stone Age, "Moonlight Sonata" by some old composer. It's not coming up there, it's just the name of the song for some reason. I've got "Paying the Cost to Be the Boss" by B.B. King, which is from probably like the 60s or something. I've got a couple of Ramones tunes, a couple more Foo Fighter tunes, and I've got "Heavy Is the Head" by Zac Brown Band. So there's a big mix, and then there's some like movie soundtracks. There's Ghostbusters theme song there that's probably left over from Halloween. Yeah, so I got a couple of Red Hot Chili Peppers tracks. So yeah, there's a big mix. So yeah, but rock is my absolute favorite, but I will give anything a listen. Okay. A few of our listeners asked this one. What horror movie do you think is overrated?
A horror movie that's overrated.
Pick something other than Black Christmas. Let's see. Well, I'm going to say one that we covered on the show. And, okay, when I say this is overrated, it doesn't mean that I don't like it. And I think I already said this when we did it on the show.
The Shining.
No. On our episode with Eric, actually, Poltergeist. It's a lot of people say this, that it's their favorite horror movie, that it's the best, it's great, it scared them. I think it's a good movie, it's decently done, I don't think it's as great as people make it out to be. I think it's okay. It has a lot of things in it that I really don't like. The little tiny psychic lady, one of them, is very annoying and completely pointless. And at the end of the movie, she didn't even do her freaking job. The house is clean. No, it's not, because there's Poltergeist 2 and 3, so shut up.
Yeah, if the house is clean, did the fucking termites implode my house? No.
So, no, it's just, and I wasn't that, some of the special effects didn't blow me away that great. Like I said, I think it's fine. I think it's a good movie.
I guess you could say her prediction came up short.
Ugh, yes. Oh, that episode was a fantastic skit, by the way. Many thanks to Eric for that one. he took on that role like a champ. That was...
Just when I thought we didn't have any more jokes about that.
But yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
well,
man. I was so fucking smug with that pun. I gotta call myself out on that. I leaned into the mic sideways, smiled, and said that coming up short thing. Just to let you know, to the listeners, like, I was aware of how fucking bad that was.
Yeah, she wasn't.
But I leaned into it. I loved it.
Didn't like her character that much. Thought she was pointless, and as a psychic, she just didn't measure up.
Never not funny.
But yeah, so that's my pick. I think Poltergeist is fine, and I would recommend it for people. I would recommend it for most people that want to watch a horror movie that aren't huge horror movie fans, because I think it's, besides a few scenes, it did have some scenes that were really well done. Skeletons in the pool, the face ripping off scene.
Alright, if you're going to pick on a classic, then I got one.
Okay.
The, believe it's 36 Dracula. With Bela Lugosi. I feel it's overrated.
You motherfucker.
There are so many better vampire movies. Christopher Lee, better vampire. Frank Langella, better vampire.
Dude, come on. This was the one that, I'm not going to say it started at all, because obviously it didn't.
Nosferatu.
But I mean, come on. This thing was like this movie bridged the gap between silent movies and talkies.
It tided us over until better vampires came along.
It didn't even, I mean, this Dracula 1930, was it 36? I think it was 32. I could be wrong. It has happened on occasion. But, I mean, it bridged the gap. I mean, there wasn't, if you go back and watch it, there's not even any music in this movie. Because they hadn't grasped the concept of actually having, music during the scenes. There was music at the beginning. I think at the start of the movie, the opening credits, they played Swan Lake.
Because that dialogue is so scintillating. Who needs music when you've got Bela Lugosi's swishy accent? Like, ooh, hello, the blood is the life. Look at the flies in the web.
But that is the Dracula that everybody references.
Yeah, like I said, overrated. Give Lee his due.
You know what?
Frank Langella, when he says sacrilege, and he jumps through that window as a man, but emerges as a wolf. That is some fucking vampire shit. Even Gary Oldman as Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Okay, now you're just getting
I thought
crazy.
they were better.
Now you're just getting crazy. I'll give you, I will say that, I'll give you points, Christopher Lee's, is it Blood of, what's the official title of it?
Horrors of Dracula was the American title, but the original title, it was just Dracula.
Yeah, they wanted something
in England.
Yeah, so I always know it's a Horror of Dracula.
Yeah, because once again, people might get confused at a movie that was made 30 years later in color with a different actor. They might get confused. You know those Americans.
They might. It's 1931 that the Bela Lugosi one came out.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was earlier than 36.
There was other... But, there was other vampire movies in, There was one with Van Helsing. He got bit by a guy, and he cures himself with holy water and a poker. And he kills the vampire by, getting him outside and then using the moonlight to make a crucifix with a windmill The Shadow of a Windmill. So that one, fuck if I could only remember what that one was.
Anyway, like I will grant you, okay, my favorite Dracula movie is The Horror of Dracula, Christopher Lee's first appearance as Dracula.
Brides of Dracula.
So,
it was the second Hammer film with Peter Cushing. Okay, go on.
Okay, but whatever, I'll let you have it. Whatever. Pissing me off.
You were saying?
No, Horror of Dracula, Christopher Lee, his first appearance of Dracula. That is my favorite Dracula movie, so I'll give you that. But anyway, yeah, okay. You know what? It's their own personal opinion, so I'm not going to give you too much flack for it. Whatever. You didn't like Black Christmas, so I mean, what can we expect from you? Okay, so we had a few people ask this one as well. What horror movie were you most disappointed with? I know mine.
Hollow's End.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't say I was that was just awful, but I didn't know what to expect, so I can't say I was disappointed.
Or do they mean like public theater release movies?
Yeah,
that,
or
outside
whatever,
of the
like a
podcast?
horror movie. I guess like disappointed, a movie that you were looking forward to seeing and just didn't live up to your expectations. I'm gonna say
Shit.
I'm gonna go right back to in my teenage years. I'm gonna say An American Werewolf in Paris, because we waited more than it was getting close to 2 decades to get a sequel to An American Werewolf in London, and we got a piece of crap. They did away with those nice practical effects that gave us the best werewolf transformation scene that we ever got, and it was replaced with that weak ass mid-late 90s CGI morphing technology that was just not good. I mean, not that the movie was all totally bad. It wasn't a good movie, but I mean, it did have some good points to it.
Oh, and by the way, the girl, Seraphine Pigeot, is the daughter of David Kessler and Alex Price.
No
the
way.
couple seen 16 years earlier in the first film. It's
off.
canon.
I didn't know that. Oh, I knew it was canon in the fact that it exists in the same universe, but I didn't realize that she's
the kid.
Fuck. See, that just instantly made me like that movie a little bit more. So yeah, but yeah, it was disappointing. The effects.
Wow, and the girl that played in that movie, she's 47 now.
Oh yeah, yeah, she would be.
She's cute though. Julie Delpy. Anyways,
so that one was a bit of a letdown. Yeah, I went in there because, like I said, one of my favorite, not only one of my favorite horror movies, but one of my favorite movies of all time is An American Werewolf in London. And so I waited a long time to see a sequel. I actually saw that one in theater with a few friends. And, yeah, just did not pan out. Can't say it was, completely terrible. Wasn't great by any means. And they brought in some new lore to the whole werewolf thing. We actually find in a way that there is a way to get the curse taken off you without dying. And that gets explored, but yeah, it just was a bit of a letdown. So that's my pick.
I'm really perplexed. Aside from a movie that we've seen on the podcast recently, My Terrible Memory. I don't think I've seen a horror movie in theaters for a long time. It's usually just a Marvel action movie, or
it doesn't have to be in theater, but
okay.
Just one that you were looking forward to. What about some of the sequels to Horror of Dracula with Christopher Lee? Because there's a few of those when getting up to the end of his run as Dracula that were very good. I don't know. How many
all right, Okay, all right. If we're talking about Hammer disappointment, I'm going to say The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires.
Was that with the hopping vampires, the hopping Asian vampires?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, Peter Cushing versus Ninja Vampires. And just as awesome as that sounds, just take that anticipation and invert it, and that's the end result. Because, like, I don't know, like, why people were so big on kung fu movies if this was if this was the result. Like, no Bruce Lee in this movie.
No,
It was so fucking bad.
Yeah, so it's easy. I think I could go on. I mean, I could suggest a lot that were disappointments, just because, not because they were bad movies, just didn't live up to my expectations, I guess. And a lot of them are going to be sequels, of course. The remake of Black Christmas was pretty awful. I didn't like how they did that.
Whereas the porn title of the same name was very, very engaging.
Oh my god. So that but that would have to be the one that stands out, just simply because I was waiting so long to see it, and yeah, that was a letdown.
Girl, I got a lump of coal in my undies.
Okay, so
Okay, enough of that.
yep, sure is. Chris Yu asks, "What is the scariest thing you can imagine seeing in a horror movie?" Naked Mike.
Well, that old lady from The Shining comes to mind.
Yeah, that was pretty nasty. Now, I wonder if you mean like scariest thing we've seen, or the scariest thing that we could imagine that we haven't seen in a horror movie.
Scariest thing we haven't seen but would?
Yeah.
I'd imagine someone getting flayed alive.
Oh, I mean, watch some of the Saw sequels. You'll see that. I wouldn't know how to answer that question. Like that's I can't think of it. Like I've seen some things in horror movies that were very cringeworthy, and I mean cringeworthy in a way that literally, not that it was bad, but it actually made me cringe. That like found it hard to watch. Anything involving toes or feet getting cut off is really bad for me. I don't know why.
Like House of Wax when that lady got her finger snipped.
Yes, like anything like that. Like not even like getting an.
House of Wax gave us some cringeworthy moments, like that guy getting de-haired, coated in singeing hot wax.
Yeah.
Then getting it like weighed from beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
And like I know I bashed on that movie a bit. I said overall I didn't really like it, but it did have some. I will give it credit for like some moments.
It tried. And boy, did they try.
There's some moments in this movie that makes it like worthwhile watching, and that getting covered in hot wax so hot that actually like burns into your skin. The finger
it fuses with your skin.
Yeah, the finger cutting scene. You know what?
Wade getting his face sliced.
Yep.
And then like we don't know if he's still alive. Or if he's died of shock at this point.
He wasn't alive after he took that ride down to the basement on that piano. At the end, I don't know why that scene made me laugh so much, because he's so, while all this is going on, he's still like, we don't know if he's alive or not, but he's like so
I fucking hate you all.
He's so propped up to the piano, and all of a sudden the floor just gives way, and you just see the piano and him slide through the big fucking hole into the basement.
Bye, Wade.
Whee! Last thoughts. I hope somebody's filming this. So that's I don't know what to say. In movies, if I see somebody get like a finger or a toe or something cut off, it makes me squirm more than seeing somebody get like a freaking full limb, like a leg or an arm, or even their head sliced off. I don't know why, but anything about that, like with toes and fingers and fingernails, makes me automatically tense. I think maybe because I bashed my toes off so many things, stubbed my toes, and to the point like I've actually broken a toe by stubbing it. I've broken fingers before by like smacking them off something or falling on them. So maybe that's why, I don't know, but yeah, I got a problem with stuff like that.
I'd imagine for me it would be like crawling through a tunnel or something, trying to escape something, and then like having it collapse just enough to get you stuck.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty.
And knowing that like you are going to spend hours, days stuck in there, like just like it's to me it's like the long kills,
like
that are the most
waiting to
disturbing
die
me.
type of thing.
Yeah, the fact that no one will have any idea where to find you, and even if they did, how the hell would they fish you out?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you get Montresor into a wall, or you remember Montresor from that Vincent Price movie?
Yeah.
When you get buried in a wall, or just something where like no one would have any idea where to look for you. Just that isolation where you are going to spend days regretting everything.
Mm-hmm. No,
That's psychological and physical.
That's a good one.
Especially when you have to like fester in your own poop. Ugh.
What about like the that Ryan Reynolds movie where the whole movie is him like buried in a coffin?
Oh, 100. Yeah, Buried Alive. Was that the name of the movie?
I think so. Yeah.
Did he get out of it?
I never saw it. To be quite honest, I don't think I want to see a movie where it's just somebody just like in a coffin the whole time.
Yeah, because I can't imagine. Like, we saw Kill Bill and thought like, oh yeah, she punches her way through the coffin, but I can't imagine like you don't have much room to move there, and also if you did, all that dirt would fill in the coffin, and you'd still have more dirt to get through.
Yeah.
Are you just like moling your way through?
But she could make it through because she knows all the kung fu's.
Yeah, but all that dirt and shit is falling in your face and in your eyes.
Yep.
Even if you do punch a hole through the coffin, you've made a fist-size hole. How are you going to get your shoulders through there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons
And
why.
then all the dirt falling through.
There's a lot of
all
reasons.
the dirt falling on top of you would immediately shut the hole, and you'd be fucked.
There's a lot of reasons why punching your way out of a coffin probably wouldn't work. But yeah, so okay. Oh, we got a Christmas question because we started receiving these we requested these questions before Christmas. So Tracy P asks, what would be the scariest thing you could find under your Christmas tree? Also, Naked Mike. I'm picking on you. This is because of your
My grotesque appearance, yeah.
no, no, because of your dissing really good horror movies. That's why. Scariest thing? I don't know. A copy of Hollow's End. Like the Hollow's End DVD that I smashed while recording after we did that episode. To find that like back in perfect condition under my Christmas tree. That would be the worst.
Oh my god, it would be like the painting of Portafoy from Night Gallery.
Yes.
It's just like edging closer and closer. Every time you blink or you turn away, it's getting closer and closer to your DVD player.
Yeah, so that would be my pick. Because, fuck.
Ah, shit. The most horrifying thing I could find under my Christmas tree.
Adult responsibilities?
Oh, I do have it pretty easy.
Yeah, so... Okay. Oh, here's a good one. Alright. I like this. This is,
Or like a severed head in a box, and a note saying that flashing light outside your window is the police.
Oh.
Like just getting framed for some murder. Right
I
off the
thought
bat.
you could be like, outside your window was Kevin Spacey. But,
Well, actually,
box.
the most horrifying thing would be to open the box and find your own severed head in there and be like,
Ooh, trippy. Twilight Zone
the
episode.
fuck? Is this box from the future? And then a note saying, yes, this box is from the future, but it's only 30 seconds.
Ooh. Okay, so this is a good one. A couple of people asked this. Do you listen to any other horror movie podcasts? I do. I don't know about you, but I do. And some good ones, too. I'm going to just make sure that I don't leave anyone out. Bring up my list. Okay, so I've got a few. I listened to...
I tried listening to the Horror Explorer, but I found where they were dissing the Night of the Comet.
That was
So,
it? That was a deal breaker for you?
I want to like you guys, but I haven't deleted you off my iPad, but you're still on probation. You're one of those podcasts now. I'll get around to you rather than I'm making a priority. I did like their episode of the stuff.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So I'll give you I'll give you some good press for that. You did a good job talking about the stuff. I want to see that movie now.
Oh yeah,
that would be a movie I'd like to see.
You got to see that one. That's like an.
I have wanted to see that movie since I saw the cover, and I've just thought, is this like the Blob sponsored by Cool Whip?
It's a blob. Think of the blob that's can disguise itself as a dessert and is more intelligent.
I saw. The one thing I'm gonna love about this podcast is that there are so many movies that I wanted to see as a kid, but either I couldn't rent them because, they had like a higher rating than my age.
Right.
And by the time I was old enough, I was already like into video games or something else. But there are so many movies I wanted to see, like one with these monsters coming out of a toilet holding lipstick. I think it was Ghoulies.
It's Ghoulies, yeah, for sure.
Another one with a guy sticking like a key into a lock, but it was like made of bones. I think it was House.
Yep.
So many old.
Okay, we're gone off topic.
Yeah, I forgot what we were talking about.
Do we listen to any other horror podcasts?
All right, yeah, because they talked about the stuff, which reminded me of that video art cover of the white stuff coming out of a fridge.
Yeah. So I got a few. I listened to one. There's a couple of ladies that do a podcast called Horror Rewind, and it's just movies that they've seen before that they just discuss them, what they, just what they enjoyed about them. There's one called Horror Junkies that's actually on the Phantom Podcast Network that I really like, but they haven't put out a new episode in a while. It's been early November since they put out an episode. So a bunch of guys. I think the majority of them. I think it's 4, and I think the majority of them are college kids. So it's pretty cool because there's like a definite age gap between us. So it's pretty cool to see some people that are like quite a bit younger than me. Their thoughts on some of these movies, because there's some that he mentioned that are remakes that he really like that I didn't really care for. But it's good to hear like the reasons why they like these movies. Get some perspective from a different point of view. There's one that I really enjoy called The Bizarre Cast. And actually, they mentioned our show on there because I entered a contest. They were giving away some artwork, some original movie poster artwork. And they had some trivia questions you had to answer in order to be qualified. And I wrote in and had the answers right. And I was actually... So they... just out of the people that got the answers right, they just picked a random name, and it was mine, and they sent it to me, and it was fucking fantastic artwork that I need to get some pictures taken of and send it to them. So that's a good one. Check out those. Check out Horror Rewind, Horror Junkies, The Bizarre Cast, and then one more, which I think is the gold standard of horror movie podcasts, and that is The Horror Show with Sean and Joe. They're great guys. They've got such a rapport between them. They've been friends for a long time, and you can tell the podcast is so natural. And they just, all they do is you watch a horror movie, and then their show is just them going through the entire synopsis of the movie from start to finish. So by the time they're done, every single detail about the plot of the movie. So be prepared for that, because, you're going to get major spoilers. I know we give spoilers on this show, too, because we talk about points that we liked and didn't like, but with each episode, you're going to get the entire synopsis of the movie. And they're just really funny, and they're naturally funny. They don't try too hard. It just comes off really well. They're so smooth. Everything flows. And they're really friendly guys, really appreciative of their fans, and I've had some brief conversations with them on Twitter, and they're all around good guys. They sent me some stickers, from their show. Yeah, like I said, to me, they're the gold standards horror movie podcast. And when we started this one, remember I said one of the things that there's a horror movie podcast I listen to called The Horror Show. Whatever it is we do, we make sure that we don't do what they do, just out of respect to them. Not that I think that we could do it better. I just don't want to. They've got it nailed, and I don't want to kind of like, even make an attempt to be imposing on their gig. Like, I want to do something completely different. That's why we came up with the format that we follow. So,
and that's kind of why I don't listen to many horror podcasts, because I don't want to be influenced.
Yeah.
Or be like, I'm accidentally copying these guys, or
exactly
just
like
feeling so creatively bankrupt that I can just cheat my way by like, oh, I'll just do what the fucking Retronauts do. Boom.
So if you listen to us and you're looking for another horror movie podcast that you like to check out, definitely that would be. Check out any of those that I mentioned, but the Horror Show would be like my top pick because these guys are very interactive and. Yeah, like it's to me.
You can check those guys out, but whatever you do, make sure to tell them that you got to them because of us.
Yes, give us some
and
credit
that it
there.
would be really cool if we guested on their show, or they guested on our show.
They yeah.
Suggest a
They
collaboration
do
and just hound them.
some interviews sometimes with some people. Like they've done a few interviews with some people that work in the industry. I think the only guests they've had has like been one of their good friends has been on the show with them sometimes.
All right. Then leave it in their Twitter. Just tweet like Graveyard GYS Horror Pod led me here. Let all their fans know.
There you go.
So we can steal them.
Okay. So yeah, so check those out. So yeah, like absolutely. I listen to a lot of podcasts because I listen to them at work because I want something that like I'm the type of person, I'm weird. I can't listen to music and work at the same time because I find music's too distracting. I'll be fucking air drumming if I'm listening to and not working and singing like, disturbing everybody, like, ruining everyone's hearing in the office with my off-key singing. But if I can listen to a podcast and work away, if I've got to listen to background chatter, I'd rather listen to something that I'm actually interested in. So, I load my podcasts, every episode of the ones I follow. I got about probably like 10 podcasts that I follow. And I load it up. And I am listening to it because I can do all my work and concentrate fine, but I am listening to it because I can tell you everything they talked about in each episode. But I don't find it distracting like music. So podcasts are my thing. It's what gets me through the day. So, Mike.
Yeah?
We got one more question.
Woohoo.
I just read this and it's got nothing to do with our show or horror movies at all. Darren S. wants some advice. He says, there's a new girl at my work that I really like. How do I get her to notice me? Cartwheels. Cartwheels is my suggestion. Just go to her desk or her office or workstation, whatever it is, and just start doing cartwheels back and forth, as many as you can, until she notices you. If you can't do cartwheels, I don't know. Start doing push-ups. Get on the floor and show her how many push-ups you can do. There you go. That's my suggestion. Try that. What do you suggest, Mike? What should Darren do to get this new girl to notice him? Oh, I know.
Get a bunch of friends to show up as the raccoons and sing "Come With Us" or "Run With Us."
Oh my God. Nobody outside of Canada is going to have any idea what that is. But I do know the cartoon suggestion for Eric on his YouTube channel. Serenader. Buy a huge bunch of flowers and learn a song, learn lyrics, memorize lyrics to a song, and just serenade her with an entire song.
The Touch. Learn guitar and jam out the fucking Touch by Stan Bush.
Well, I was going to suggest a rap, but okay, whatever. That works too. An 80s power ballad, go for that. Sure.
You got the touch, bow, bow, bow. You've got the power. Just fucking like take some lozenges. Make sure that your throat can survive that. Yeah, bow.
So that's our suggestions, Aaron. I hope that works for you, and let us know how your trial goes. All right, so now let's get down to business, Mike.
Set the high score for the restraining order distance.
So
You'll get a prize if you can beat 600 meters.
So we're going to talk about. We got our picks. We asked you guys, quite a while ago, send us your picks for the best horror movie of 2017, the worst horror movie, and plus your most anticipated horror movie of 2018. So here's how I did it. I took all the suggestions you guys gave me. I picked the most. I went through it and found the most common ones, the ones that were suggested the most. I took the top 4 from each one, and I put those in a Twitter poll for each category, and let people, our Twitter followers, vote on their picks. And so, just simple poll, whichever ones get the most votes is what we will declare the winner. But before we do that, Mike, let's pick ours and see how our picks measure up in the polls.
Okay, what are the options?
First of all, the best. What you think is the best horror movie of 2017?
Oh, It.
Yeah, that's going to be my pick too.
It's the only horror movie I think I've seen this year in theaters.
So you pick it by default. I saw a few, but not, obviously not everything. And like I said, since we've been doing the show, most of my horror movie watching has been coming for like things we've done for the show, so I'm not seeing as many new ones as I used to. But I'm going to pick it as well for the best of 2017. And I know there's going to be people, like I said, there's a lot of people that hate this movie, that had nothing good about it. A lot of them, I think, are ones that are just, bashing it because a movie...
Just a bunch of butthurt Tim Curry fans.
Yeah, and the original was good, but I'm sorry, it was not as good as this one.
And if you don't like it, you can suck it.
Oh. And, yeah, and people will list out they'll go through almost like they're going through schematics of why it wasn't very good, and it's like, I don't...
If they were going to do a remake, they should have done the sewer orgy scene or whatever.
I don't...
Really?
I don't care. I'm simply picking it because of the movies I saw, horror movies I saw that came out in 2017. It's the one I enjoyed the most.
Yeah. You can't do everything that was in the novel because Stephen King kind of a coked out perv when he wrote that, so you know what? Some things you gotta let go.
Yeah. Okay, so we both picked it for our favorite of 2017. Do we want to go our own picks for each category, or just give our picks and then give what the winner of our poll was?
The longer one. It's our New Year's special. We can afford to run a little late.
Well, we already did, but this is a long ass episode. But anyway, so. Okay.
Well, it is a year-end summation. It shouldn't be.
Well, we'll give our picks for all three, and then we will go with what the official winners of our polls was. So for worst horror movie of 2017, and once again, this is just out of what I saw, I'm going to pick Jeepers Creepers 3.
What? They made a threequel to that this year?
It didn't have a theatrical release. Went straight to VOD, and it.
Well, shit, I haven't even seen it, but I'd qualified for that.
Fucking bad. Yeah, and okay, so you have. I think you said It was the only new horror movie you saw this year. So we'll move.
Yeah,
on.
everything else was comics related or some. What other movies did I see? I think I saw Room, that the movie about the girl that was, kidnapped by a guy and had his kid raised him up in a room. That was a good movie.
It's borderline horror as well, so
psychological horror in a way.
Oh, okay, and so for most anticipated horror movie of 2018.
It too. Is that coming out
No, I
next
think
year,
it's
or are
I
they
think
waiting a couple years?
2019. That one's coming out.
Oh fuck.
I don't know if this is going to be any good, but the 2018 Halloween movie. A lot of people.
Is it? It's zombie free.
What? Why would there's no zombies in it?
Rob Zombie.
Oh yeah,
free?
Rob Zombie got nothing to do with this. He had his chance. No, but
All right, then
Jamie-
it's worth a shot. We're bringing
here-
we're bringing Jamie Lee Curtis
they're
back, and
bringing
she looks
Jamie Lee
good.
Curtis back, and apparently, from what I've read, this is what's got a lot of people like in a bit of a stink about this one. And I'm saying is my most anticipated, not because I necessarily think it's going to be good. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen with it.
It has the potential to be good based on what we know.
Well, that's debatable. Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back, and apparently it's going to erase all the other sequels after Part 2 out of the Halloween canon.
Hey, isn't that what kind of way we wanted?
Well, I mean, they'd get pretty bad after number 2. Now,
Yeah, so-
okay,
Yay.
I'm going to say something very controversial, and I do think we brought it up in the show before. I actually liked Halloween 3. I don't care that it had nothing to do with Michael Myers on its own right, just existing on its own. I think it was a good 80s horror movie. So
It should have just been called Season of the Witch.
it should have been
not
called
Halloween 3.
If it was called anything other than Halloween 3, it would have been fine. But I then again, I understand what the original vision of the Halloween series was going to be. But
Yeah, a bunch of anthologies.
But people don't want that. People want the same rehash of the same movie every year, so screw you guys. But for better or for worse, yeah, that is the one that I'm most anticipating because I want to see if it's going to be, not because I think it's going to be good, not because I think it's going to be bad. I want to see what's going to happen with it. So
Yeah, it's a fresh start. So
there's another one though, and it is on. There's another one though that I'm very curious about to see because this could be. There's one that's not going to be any middle ground. It's going to be either one of the greatest things ever or a complete flop, and that is
Get Out 2.
Nope.
Why don't you just Get Out?
no Slender Man.
Ooh.
So that's a highly anticipated one. So that one was pretty close. I was kind of stuck between those two because and once again, when I say anticipated, it doesn't mean that I think it's going to be good. I'm just curious to see how it's going to play out.
It follows too. It still follows.
Okay, so that's us, but let's get to it. Do we want to do a drum roll? No, screw that. Or just do it anyway. Whatever. You're just gonna do whatever you want anyway.
I'm tired. I'm very suggestible.
Okay, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna give the nominees, the 4 nominees, which, like I said, were the 4 most common suggestions that we got when we asked for your best. And wanted to say something about one. There's one movie that was suggested a lot. I put it on the list, but at first, before I put it on the list, I had to do another Twitter poll asking if people thought this one was a horror, just because we were getting a lot of comments. A lot of people suggested it, and a lot of people were replying to those people's comments saying that they don't think it's a horror movie. So what I did, it is Get Out. The movie Get Out. A lot of people suggested it, said that was their favorite horror movie of 2017. Then a lot of people responded to them saying, oh, that's not a horror movie, that doesn't count. But you know what? I checked IMDb. They have it listed as a thriller, psychological horror. And to me, that was convincing enough to list it as a horror movie. But just to make sure, I also put it on Twitter as a poll, got people to vote on it. I had 3 options. I said, do you think Get Out is a horror movie? Yes, no, or I haven't seen it. I put I haven't seen it there just because people love voting on these Twitter polls. If you just have 2 options, if it was just yes or no, people are going to vote on it whether they've seen it or not. So I put haven't seen it just as a way of, taking these people out of running. And yes, overwhelmingly, yes, it is a horror movie. Got 52% of votes, while the rest was divided between no and I haven't seen it. So there you go. The majority agreed it was a horror movie, so I did put it on the list of nominees for Best Horror Movie of 2017. So I hope that makes sense. So don't complain about it if that one happens to be the winner. Okay? But here is the four nominees. Like I said, these were the ones that were picked the most. The nominees for the Graveyard Shift's Best Horror Movie of 2017 are Annabelle Creation, It, Get Out, and Happy Death Day. And the winner is, with 50% of the votes, It.
Woo!
So there you go. Haters gonna hate, but a lot of people love this movie. So it was the top pick. It, like I said, it received 50% of votes. Get Out received 34%. Annabelle Creation got 13%, and Happy Death Day got 3%.
Oh my gosh. Did you see Happy Death Day?
No, I did not.
I saw the commercial for it. I immediately saw this is like all of Bill Murray's discarded Groundhog Days.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. To me, it looked like Groundhog Day, the horror movie. Okay, now on to one that I thought the category was more interesting. That was worst horror movie of 2017. So once again, took the top 4 suggestions and put them in a poll for everyone to vote on.
Ooh, I just did a quick view on Happy Death Day. 71% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
It is not a bad movie.
Well, according to that. But anyway, so here it is. This is the nominees that you guys nominated for your worst horror movie of 2017. We've got Jeepers Creepers 3, Cult of Chucky, Jigsaw, and Leatherface. And the winner, picked by you guys again, not us. These are all votes on our Twitter page. For worst horror movie of 2017 is Jeepers Creepers 3.
Woohoo!
Apparently a lot of people were just as disappointed with that one as I was.
Scarecrow should have been left in the cornfield.
Was
he a scarecrow?
No. Well, sort of, kind of, not really. Some kind of demon thing, but I think he does pose as a scarecrow. But something that didn't help this movie's reputation is that it was directed by a convicted pedophile. So, yeah.
Victor Salva?
Was he the director?
Yep. Okay, Victor Ronald Salva is an American film director, screenwriter, and convicted child molester. He directed Powder.
Yep.
Oh my god. Powder and Jeepers Creepers. Oh, wow.
Okay. So, yeah, there was a bit of controversy because I remember there was being some questions asked if you were going to not watch Jeepers Creepers 3 based on this, and so yeah.
And his conviction was in 1988, so it wasn't like, some modern indiscretion. No, he began directing in 1986 and got convicted in 1988.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, one more category, and once again, this is picked by you guys, so don't get any hate give any hate to us. This is totally democratic process. And finally, we've got the most anticipated horror movie of 2018, and the nominees are Halloween, which I think that's the only title they have for it right now is Halloween. I don't know if that's going to change, if this is just, like a placeholder right now. We have The Nun, Slender Man, and The Meg.
Is this like Peter Griffin's Nightmare?
It's actually a giant shark movie.
Oh, I thought it was someone being chased by a giant spice rack.
Okay, so picked by you guys with holy crap and
what the fuck are these other 3 movies? All I know is these other 2 movies. I know Slender Man and Halloween. These other 2, how can they be anticipated if I never heard of them?
Well, maybe you should, I don't know, read more. I don't know what to say. Anyway,
did you know about these?
Everything except The Meg. I actually had to research what The Meg was. But The Nun and Slender Man, I knew those were movies that were coming out. So anyway, that's the nominees, and the winner, by a very, very large margin, 59% of the votes actually, out of the 4 options, was Halloween.
The big winner was the movie everybody's actually heard of.
Okay, The Nun got 10%, Slender Man 29%, and The Meg 2%.
The Meg is apparently based off a 1997 science fiction book, and it will have Rainn Wilson in it. Yeah. I like him. Oh, and Jason Statham. If Jason Statham's starring in the movie, then I guess Rainn Wilson's going to be the shark.
So, guys, yeah, that's it. That's the big winners of our I don't know what to even call it. That's what you guys liked in 2017, what you didn't like, and what you're looking forward to in 2018. So, I gotta say, looking at what's coming out in 2018, I'm not overly impressed so far.
Looking at 2018, I'm looking forward to 2019.
Something tells me that we're going to be covering a lot of older movies this year, Mike. That's okay. That's fine. It's good. So, Mike, that's it, man. Like, we're in 2018. We had our final say about 2017. How are you feeling about going on with this podcast for we're going to get a full year this time. Not going to be starting halfway through the year.
I'm looking forward to it. We've got some ideas. We've got some more theme months. We've got some more blocks. We've got some guests that want to come on. I am anxious. I am happy. And there's a lot of anniversaries of movies coming up that we finally get to throw in.
Yeah, there's some big movie anniversaries. Like some really big movies coming up. Got some very significant anniversaries. So we definitely need to talk about those.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward with optimism and hope because I have a very competent, capable, and humorous sidekick with me.
Yay! Me too. Sure, why not? Ditto. But yeah, guys. So that was 2017. We know it was only 6 months, but I mean that's just the way it is. We're going to wait like a full year to start at the beginning of a year. So,
I am looking forward to and dreading our big surprise for our 1 year anniversary.
It's gonna be an editing nightmare for you. I can't wait. You're gonna be so stressed, and I'm gonna laugh and laugh and laugh. But guys, thank you so much. Thank you guys for making our 2017 so enjoyable. You guys are fucking awesome. We love every single comment and question that you send us. Darren, I hope everything works out with that new girl at your work. And let us know how that goes, please.
And that she runs with you.
Ugh. So, guys, and we're going to be back real soon. Back to our regularly scheduled programming, is that what I want to say? Back to a regular format of us just watching a movie and then talking about it with you guys. So look forward to that, and keep those movie suggestions coming. You guys were awesome. You gave us so much more than we could handle, and we love it. We want to be doing this for a long time, so keep them coming, and let us know what you think of the movies that we covered. Of course, as always, if you have questions, comments, if anything at all, whatever you want to send to us, we really like reading everything you guys send us. You got a couple of options for doing that. You can do it the old-fashioned way and email us at graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, of course, at GYS_horrorpod. And you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. And of course, guys, we're doing this podcast. It does cost us something to run this thing for administration costs, promotional fees. You can help us out with that. If you want to make a donation to the show, you can do so at www.patreon.com/graveyard. I know all through December, a lot of you got a free preview because we gave away All of our Patreon exclusive content for free. Normally, only our paying Patreon members got to view that exclusive content that we do. But all December, we had the paywall removed so everyone could take a look, get a little sample. And if you like what you saw and you want to keep being able to get access to that, it only costs you $1 a month. And it gives you access to everything that we do on Patreon. And of course, we understand not everyone has the money to give us money. Trust me, we know what that's like. But you can still help us out a ton. Best, I can't say the easiest, but the best way you can help us out is go to iTunes, rate, review, subscribe. In the long run, that's what's going to help out the show the most and make sure that we can keep doing this thing. Of course, if you can't, if iTunes is not your thing, you're not, savvy with the Apple products, you can still rate and review us on Facebook. You can check us out on Stitcher and Google Play, and whichever way you're listening to us. If you're listening to us, you know how to find us, so just keep doing that. That's awesome. You're doing your part just by listening to us. And if you can't get enough of Mike, and I mean, who can, you can actually hear more of him. And Mike, how would someone go about doing that?
You can find me reviewing each and every episode of Nintendo Power Magazine with my American co-hosts on the Playing with Power podcast. We read the magazine, we vaguely read it from front to back, and most of the time we just snipe at each other or have disturbing, terrible conversations.
Mm-hmm. You've been warned. Tread lightly.
Yeah, and you can find us on the Playing with Power podcast.com, and you can also find us on facebook.com/playingwithpower, I think.
Yep.
Or you'll find it eventually.
You'll find it.
And we also have a secondary show called The Taste Test, where we play old Nintendo games that we either missed out on as kids or just want to talk about. And we throw skits in that one, not with my Canadian co-host Brandon and my new American co-host Ivan. But for the most part, American co-host, not that great on skits. So you're just going to get magazine banter and discussions on the Playing with Power podcast.
Yeah, if you're a fan of old video games, or you have a subscription to Nintendo Power way back when that was available, check it out. I think you're going to like it. I really enjoy it. So, it's great. And guys, okay, so that's it. Next week, back to the old grind. Be watching another horror movie and talking about all the stuff that we liked and didn't like about it. And hope you're going to join us. So until then, I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Mike.
And thank you for joining us again on The Graveyard Shift. Ha 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 ha!